Good morning, and welcome to the church with a big heart and a complicated name, the Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship. I'm Eric Williams, Service Associate. My pronouns are he, him. Our service leader is Interim Minister Reverend Barbara Queeman. Today's music is provided by our chamber choir. And today's indispensable tech team is Larry Sherwood, Kathy Partridge, and Deborah Mensch. Yeah. Now, as Unitarian Universalists, we strive to be inclusive, to create a space welcoming to people from all walks of life. At the same time, let's face it, many of us are privileged white folks like me. So with that in mind, you are all welcome here today. In all the beauty of languages, cultures, skin tones, shapes, and sizes that come together in your uniqueness, you are welcome here. In all the ways you express and experience gender, in the beauty that is who you love and how you love, or even if you can't love today at all, you are welcome here. In all the ways you make your living, and no matter what field your first PhD was in, you are welcome here. With all the traditions that inform your spiritual life after your 21-day all-inclusive retreat in Bali, you are welcome here. No matter how long you were away on safari, nor how soon you will return from the Arctic, you are welcome here. Whether you come with laughter in your heart or tears, whether you get your produce from Sister Carmen or from an exclusive farm-to-table experience in the Provence, you are welcome here. You are invited to join us with a curious mind, a loving heart, and a willing spirit. We welcome you today. Now seriously, we commit ourselves to our core values of love, reason, compassion, and justice. Within this congregation and beyond, for as long as this fellowship stands. And speaking of compassion, I want to remind you to write down your joys and concerns in the book at the back of the sanctuary, right next to the AV desk, so we may read them during the service. The book is still available until the opening hymn, so get thee to the book. If you're new here, we're glad you found us. And we hope that in this community, whether you're with us in person or virtually, you can experience the warmth and love of this congregation. Please come back a few times to get to know us. We have opportunities during the week for social connection and spiritual growth. People on Zoom can check out the links in the chat to help you get connected. In-person newcomers can stop by the welcome table in our foyer for the fellowship information and our newcomer form. It's also on the QR code in the back of most hymnals. If you'd like to view a simple order of service for today on your phone, there it is, or you can click on the link in the Zoom chat. Everyone on Zoom is welcome to stay for casual conversation following the service, or get down here for the annual fellowship picnic with food and music and fun for all. It starts right after the service. If you're joining us on Zoom, please feel free to greet each other in the Zoom chat. Those of you in the sanctuary, please take a joyous moment to greet your neighbors. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning to everyone. I'm Reverend Barbara, the grateful minister of this congregation. My pronouns are she and her. In the Unitarian Universalist tradition, Our flaming chalice is a symbol of our community and our belonging. I invite us together to say the words to light the chalice as Eric does so. We light this chalice for the warmth of love, as we come together in worship. Listen to these words of invitation. It is not by chance that you arrived here today. You have been looking for something larger than yourself. Inside of you, there is a yearning, a calling, a hope for more, a desire for a place of belonging and caring. Through your struggles, someone nurtured you into being, instilling a belief in a shared purpose, a common yet precious resource that belongs to all of us when we share. And so you began seeking a beloved community, a people that does not put fences around love, a community that holds its arms open to possibilities of love, a heart home to nourish your soul and share your gifts. Welcome home. Come, my friends, let us worship together this morning and be glad. And let's continue our gladness by our opening hymn. It's number 1023. If you choose to follow in the teal hymnal, the words will be on the screen. It's about building bridges. I invite you to rise in body or in spirit.
Yes, and this is a round, so why don't we sing it through 2 times, chamber choir, all together in unison 2 times before we start making our sweet harmony. And then once we sing it through twice, we can have stagger entrances. So you'll hear the chamber choir will break into 4 parts, and you can just kind of come in and choose your own adventure. And we'll probably sing it through about 2 more times or until it feels like it's been sung. All right, so here we go. Building bridges.
Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
One more time.
Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we could make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. 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 I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we will make such sweet harmony. Building bridges between our divisions. I reach out to you, will you reach out to me? With all of our voices and all of our visions, friends, we can make such sweet harmony.
Friends?
Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
One more time.
Friends, we could make such sweet harmony.
This month, we are building bridges, building belonging, belonging without othering, themes that bring us together to widen our circle and to give us a richer sense of community. I get it. I'm all in. But then, I get home after a Sunday morning here, high from the music and the good vibes, and the brooding begins. Why did I say that to her? Why didn't I respond better to him? Did they just walk away mid-sentence? I don't think they like me. And so on, depending on the morning. A part of me can't help but think then that if I had just skipped the service and gone for a solo hike in the foothills instead, I would have come home refreshed and calm, and I wouldn't be dealing with all these little darts of doubt and regret about my pesky human interactions. And yet, I would have missed the reflection I wanted to hear. I would have missed the chance to experience the sublime when the music department blows us away again. I would have missed the welcome words and the gathered peace of a few moments of silence together. So I come. I may regret the things I say or do not say when I'm here, but I come because the benefits far outweigh the downside. Turns out, I need to belong too. Being here fills an empty space in me. It satisfies my longing for the sacred and for sacred ritual. I would feel hollow without them. But why do group interactions so often leave me uneasy, even in this loving place? Where's the rub? When I'm finally forced to think about it, because I hate to think about it, I arrive at the simple conclusion. My social uneasiness stems from a lack of self-acceptance. If I were more comfortable with myself, I wouldn't be so anxious about the impression I was making on others. The Reverend Scott Taylor says, we belong to every part of our lives, and every part of our lives belongs to us. Even the failures, even the cruelty, even the addictions. Until we embrace those scarred and tender parts with the kindness and forgiveness we so generously give others, we will never be whole. We will never be home. That's self-acceptance. Like other holy things, it's simple, but not easy. It's like a soft, fuzzy robe waiting to enfold us if we just let it. That's so pretty to say. Pretty words. Pretty to say. Like this Ram Dass quote, you are loved just for being who you are, just for existing. You don't have to do anything to earn it. No one can take this love away from you, and it will always be there. More pretty words. But how do I make them true for me? How do I heal enough to belong here more deeply? I don't know. Maybe I can't. Maybe I don't have enough time left in this life to turn pretty words into profound change. But I'm going to keep trying. I'm going to keep coming here and do my mountain hikes on the weekdays when there are fewer pesky humans around anyway. May it be so.
Friends, it's time now for an important ceremony. The installation and commissioning of the ministerial search team. Important to the future of a Unitarian Universalist congregation is the selection of a minister. No process is more sacred than how a search committee identifies the needs and desires of a congregation, presents these to the pool of interested ministers, and engages in deep, extensive discernment to recommend one minister as candidate for a congregation. The task of the committee is to engage with applicants in thoughtful, mutual exploration. So today we conduct this important rite of passage, the covenanting between you, the congregation, members and friends, and the BVUUF search team. Will the members of the ministerial search team please come forward as I read your names? Camille Hook, Clara Kelly, Janet Meyer, Michaela Sievers, Paul Brinteson, Scott Yeomans, and Stephanie Tooley. Hey guys, you forgot to take your sunglasses off.
Well, the future's so bright, we had to wear shades.
I invite Nancy Delora as board president to continue this ceremony.
These 7 members of the ministerial search team have already met numerous times following guidelines from the Unitarian Universalist Association for a search process that has served hundreds of congregations and ministers over many years. It is within this process that this search team has begun its work. I invite everyone's gratitude for their dedication to this congregation and the commitment of everyone to this process. And so I ask the congregation, will you affirm your trust and confidence in the ministerial search team? Will you pledge your support of their shared ministry of search? If so, please respond enthusiastically with the words on the screen.
We, the congregation of Boulder Valley Unitarian Universalist Fellowship, are grateful to you for undertaking this ministry of search. We commit to cooperating fully and participating freely to support you. We ask that you keep us informed of this process, even as you maintain strict confidentiality. We urge you to care for yourselves and the tasks you have undertaken. May your service give you the satisfaction that comes from important work well done. Members of this search team, I charge each of you to engage thoughtfully and purposefully on this journey of shared ministry, to value one another's unique gifts and personal values, your different styles of communication, your diverse visions for the future, and how you work together well as a team. I expect you are already discovering a need for agility in adapting to one another, building creatively on your different temperaments and perspectives. Will you commit yourself to this essential work of search on behalf of this fellowship?
We are honored to have been chosen to represent this congregation for the search. We commit ourselves to keeping you informed, to listening deeply to your needs, wants, and shared information, and above all, to being worthy of the responsibility with which you have entrusted us.
Finally, by the contractual terms of interim ministry, I remind all of you that I am not a candidate for this ministry. Additionally, I am bound ethically not to discuss with the search committee any potential or actual candidate. My relationship with the search team is primarily pastoral in nature, as well as coach, if I may be helpful. Ministerial search team, to concretize your shared ministry of search, I want to loan you this chalice. Who wants it? This is my personal chalice. It has been used by at least 5 of the congregations where I have served as interim minister. and it has always been returned to me filled with the spirit of matches well made between candidates and congregations. So I look forward to your returning this to me in the same condition next spring. Blessings on your shared ministry of ministerial search.
And please join together in thanking our ministerial search team.
This is the time in our service when we invite the personal, the sharing of joys and concerns within our communities as well as within the wider world. And just as a reminder for this portion of the service, this is a moment also to remind all of you about a new activity, a new endeavor during this portion of the service. Ani, are you available to come forward? Each Sunday there will be a Sunday support person available for pastoral support, wearing this lovely stole. So if anyone is in need of some support, some kind words and conversation, look for the Sunday support person, who this morning is Ani. And she'll be outside the doors after the service. Zoomers, I also want to remind you, this is the time to type in any more joys and concerns into the chat. Let us come together, my friends, in some moments of prayer and meditation as we think on events in the world. As we emphasize belonging in this service today, let us be reminded about how we belong together, united as a country, saying no to political violence. Our country has endured yet another horrific attack this week. Collectively, we say no. And we invite all into the habits of kindness and belonging and community that can help, we hope, advance to better habits and practices in our communities, in our country, in our world. We also send support in our neighborhood to yet another school shooting in the greater Denver area, in Jeffco County. Not only for this particular event, but for all the memories, all the traumas that it may trigger among many of us who have been in this area for a while. Great Spirit, we send hope for the world, that fighting may cease, that warfare may cease, that anger may cease. We drop one final stone for all the unspoken joys and concerns, some of which we may not even have realized yet, lying within our hearts. May all this be so.
We'd like to offer this musical meditation.
Na na
Each week, we remind ourselves of the abundance of our lives and this community by giving half our plate away to those organizations that share our values. Today, the half plate is once again for Together Colorado. Many of our members volunteer for Together Colorado to keep human dignity at the forefront of public policy in this state. Could there be a more worthy cause? We currently work on mental health, affordable housing, immigration reform, and economic justice through both state and local action. You can text your donation to the number on the screen, or if you're at the fellowship today, place a donation in the offering plate as it passes. Please give generously, especially if you've been flying business class.
For the work and witness of this congregation, as well as Together Colorado, your contributions are gratefully received. Thank you. Thank you. Got it? Last week we began to construct a welcome found poem that many of you contributed words to. The poem is not quite assembled yet. I wanted to let you know that we're working on it. We hope to have it ready by next week, when you can see all the many ways in which you say welcome to one another. So stay tuned. In the meantime, you're going to have to settle for Rosemary Traumer, a Colorado poet over on the Western Slope, my absolutely most favorite poet right now, who wrote these words. In a circle of mountains, it's easy to remember we belong to the mountains, belong to high-pitched, cheap alpaca, belong to the cliffs, to the path, to the unpath, belong to the blue reach of sky. We belong as much to each other as we belong to ourselves. Each of us a poem read by strangers, and beloved in ways only they can read us. Each of us constantly rewriting our lines, while in the meantime we are constantly rewritten by a great and unnameable isness that rhymes us each to each other. We belong to the truth that all belong, even when we are most lonely, even when we would rather push away from the world. In a circle of mountains, it is easy to practice belonging. Easy to notice this math: your heart equals my heart. And all this opening to what we cannot know, that equals what a life is for. Words from my minister, Rosemary Traumer. So as we introduced in last Sunday's in-gathering service, the Soul Matters theme for September is belonging. But it's not just belonging as a concept. The full theme for the month is building belonging. This month, that is, we're invited to go beyond just thinking about or analyzing the root and theological meanings of belonging. Instead, we're invited to make belonging active, an ongoing process, an ongoing feeling. So for me, this is not the first time around with the theme of belonging in the Soul Matters program. But I'm really excited by this action-oriented rendering. During our online Soul Matters worship prep sessions for ministers, and during my own planning for September's worship, I've gained much new perspective on belonging. It's especially important now, in the context of our human response to a rapidly changing environment around us. Our obligation to nurture belonging has experienced yet another radical shift this past week from yet more serious and insidious violence, not only in our neighboring state of Utah, but also in a neighboring school district. Belonging and building belonging, all the more important. So in my exploration of building belonging, I've been really jazzed by a new lens explained in a relatively recent book, Belonging Without Othering. Belonging Without Othering, How We Save Ourselves and the World, by John Powell and Stephen Menendian. So today I want to bring you the core concept of this innovative approach, that is, belonging without othering. I also want to invite you to discern how their ideas resonate with you personally as you build belonging in the communities and the groups you're part of. Belonging and othering are strongly conditioned by the stories we tell, stories about ourselves, stories about others. The more we can ground belonging on stories of kindness and compassion, the greater the chances for a positive shared future of hope and love. Oh yes, in addition to a few reflections for me about belonging, we're going to have some help this morning from Citizen Brain. Stay tuned. But here first, let me introduce the two concepts in Powell's book a little bit more. Belonging occurs within constantly evolving relationships, often between a larger established collective and an individual or a group of individuals, which represent a class or a category. Belonging is coming together. In contrast, Powell's goal is to create habits of belonging which do not require othering, which he explains as processes and dynamics that propagate social inequality, social marginality. often accumulating irreconcilable divisions over time. Othering is much broader than discrimination or marginalization. During times of othering, sometimes people close ranks on one another. So these two concepts, belonging and othering. We hope, and I trust everyone agrees, belonging embraces as many people as possible, in whatever context, as fully as possible. Still, Soul Matters materials invites us to reflect on whether any belonging we are part of requires us, or has required us in the past, to leave some of our authentic selves behind in order to fit into the collective. I wonder if anybody's experienced that. That it's you that's welcome, but maybe not all of you. Such othering means we're not able to belong with our full selves, a kind of false belonging, in the words of Brené Brown. The alternative to false belonging might be loneliness, since in trying to belong, but without the capacity to bring our whole selves, we may feel lonelier than if we'd stayed alone and true to ourselves. What might we give up or ask others to give up in order to belong? Well, as I've already suggested, there are so many dimensions to these themes, othering and belonging. I hope I offer a thought or two this morning which expands your perspective. And lest you tire of hearing my voice this morning, I now invite Citizen Brain for 1 minute to review these basic definitions of belonging and othering.
Who belongs? The fate of humanity depends on how we answer that question, and brain science can help show us the way. I want to tell you a story. Actually, I want us to tell the story together. It's a story about how, when things are changing rapidly, we can respond in one of two ways. One way is to close ranks with those we consider to be us and try to exclude everyone else. That's othering. Othering comes in many forms, but one of the most virulent is racism. The other way is to expand our conception of us to include as many people as we can. That's belonging. Which way will we choose? Well, that depends on the story we tell ourselves.
Stay tuned. Citizen Brain will be back. And also, I just want to add a footnote. He cited one type of belonging in racism, othering in racism, but certainly there's many other qualities of life that constitutes othering. I have a feeling they cut off the tape as he was about to offer some other examples there. So I just want to offer that caveat for my interpretation of that tape. So with this grounding from Citizen Brain, let's explore othering and belonging more deeply. As I explore more ideas, I invite your ongoing self-reflection on your own experiences and the stories you tell and hear from others. When have you contributed to othering? And when have you known authentic experiences of genuine belonging? Let's recall some of the qualities of othering. As Citizen Brain indicated, it's human nature to want to categorize events and individuals to better interpret the world around us, and sometimes to close ranks if we sense any threat to survival. When safety or survival is in the mix, we may easily and quickly move to our reptilian brains, into that fight or flight mode to guard our safety. That is, othering often results when we respond from fear or distrust, rather than from empathy and connection. The more we suspect that something or someone is out to get us, the odds of fear base go up. We may focus on stories that present others in negative light, so to justify why we won't embrace and connect with them. We may leave others completely out of the story, and so many examples, as in preventing all Black Americans before 1865 or all American women before 1920 from the vote. Or we let some others in, but only conditionally, if they're willing to check some of their qualities at the door. As I've already pointed out, false belonging is still othering. Overcoming othering may come with maturity. I recall a fair amount of othering from my childhood, some of which I contributed to, and some of which was done to me. I recall incidents of going along with some untested hearsay, going along with stories about someone in our class, some stories which I bought into because I wanted to get in good with the cool kids. Anybody remember doing this? Without checking out the veracity of these stories, by checking directly with the fellow classmate or other persons about whom the stories were being told. An even more serious othering shaped some of my childhood naivete, that every person of a certain racial or ethnic identity came with the same stereotyped characteristics, which rendered them automatically lesser than. Othering I bought into. However, othering is not only a childhood habit. I wonder how often othering happens among any of us, because it can be challenging to hold two opposing stories in the same container. We may hear one version of a story about a situation or a person, you name it, in national politics, or in our families, or our friendships, or even in this congregation, when it may be a whole lot easier to stick with or accept the single, less reliable version of the story rather than holding two opposite stories together in the same container. The more we stay open to multiple interpretations, to multiple facets of a situation or to someone's identity, the greater the chances of avoiding or at least mitigating othering. Belonging is a much more nurturing quality. I hope you feel that way. We might consider belonging a central UU value, since belonging promotes the interconnectedness which is core to liberal religion. Belonging is possible because of trust in the inherent worth and dignity of all persons, defined from within each of us as we shape our own relationships and respect with others. So if you fashion yourself as someone who invites belonging of others, or contributes to communities and institutions which promote belonging, do you see yourself in a few of the following important qualities of belonging, which John Powell, the author of the book, promotes? For one, Powell says that authentic belonging goes beyond inclusion. As we already reviewed from Soul Matters materials, authentic belonging should not require adjustments or fine-tuning of our details. Powell cites the admitting of all women and Black men to Yale University as students starting in 1969. Yes, they were officially included, but they were asked to adjust to standards and habits defined by the white male culture that dominated the campus. Inclusion is not full belonging if it includes tokenism, such as experienced at Yale. Another quality of belonging, authentic belonging goes beyond equity. Standards for equity may exist in a system or a community, but often the terms of that equity are defined by the dominant culture. In the words of John Powell again, honest belonging means active participation in shaping the norms, the culture, the life of the institution or community. If someone is part of that creating of the culture, that contributes to their belonging. Authentic belonging also includes visibility and recognition, as well as empowerment. Empowerment, friends, so that everyone within a community has agency to contribute to defining the nature and the identity of the community. I trust you have this sense of empowerment and how it generates agency. So again, in Powell's words, belonging exists when all social groups are included in critical institutions in society and their communities, when they are recognized and accorded visibility, when they have agency to shape those critical institutions, and when they can generate a feeling of connection. Belonging is both a feeling and a practice. So a bit more unpacking then of the definitions of both otherness, othering, and belonging. Interconnectedness is critical to genuine belonging. So for a few more minutes, let's go back and hear some more from Citizen Brain about minimizing our divisiveness and nurturing positive connections.
How can we prevent this from happening? Well, to begin with, we can start to understand that each one of us isn't exactly just one of us. We all have multiple identities, which is to say, we don't belong to just one group. Take me, for example. You may know me only as the impossibly handsome host of this video, but I'm so much more than that. I'm an American. I'm a father, a husband, a brother, a son. I'm obsessed with cute cat videos. I'm one of those people who's always dreamed of becoming a professional basketball player, even though my vertical leap is pretty close to zero. So when I'm thinking about how I can live and work peacefully with you, I'm trying to get all of my identities to get along with all of your identities. But wait, that just seems to make the problem worse. Now all of my us's have to play nice with all of your us's. That's a lot of usifying. Here's the thing, though. It's being aware of our multiple identities, our many ways of belonging, that can actually help solve the problem. Because now, when I meet a stranger who seems different from me in a scary way, chances are that in some other way, we're both in the same group.
Your group could be people who have a kind heart, people who care about each other. You could define your group in many different ways. So I think we have to actually help people imagine the future so people quit turning to the past. But we haven't really exercised that.
Wow. It would be so great if we could come up with something that could allow us to benefit from all the things we share without destroying each other over our differences. Well, fortunately, we have. And with all due respect to the wheel and the spork, it's probably the greatest invention that our brains have ever come up with: democracy. A political system that allows not only all of us to participate, but most of our multiple us's as well. As long as we start by agreeing on one thing: everyone belongs. So that when something like the coronavirus crisis comes along, we don't follow the orders of our inner reptile and resort to othering.
The way we work together needs to deliver security for all of us. That should be the precondition. In the context of thinking about the pandemic, the way I put it is, the starting point for a governance conversation is we're not going to abandon anybody. We're not abandoning the elderly. We're not abandoning the young. We're not abandoning people of color. We're not abandoning people who are in prisons. Because otherwise, you don't have a social contract. You might as well just give up and go home, because you just ruined the whole thing.
In other words, everyone has to belong. And to get there, we need to practice favoring our kind side over our scared side.
The best humans, the ones that we might admire the most, are those who can keep these two systems working together in a very positive way, that don't allow the fear and the fright and the anger to overwhelm us when we are in moments of stress. It's the part of the brain that can see a with a longer view about the importance of empathy, of caring for others, this higher order system that allows us to believe in others and protect them.
It all comes back to the story we tell ourselves.
The way we think about these things, the culture and the leadership matters a lot so that we can sort of activate certain parts of the imagination.
And John, right now we seem to have a lot of leaders internationally that appeal to this more primitive side of our brain, the side of the brain that allows us to feel comfortable in a small group.
I think that's right.
And it's gonna take all of us. Democracy is the story that we have to keep telling together. And this beautiful, necessary collaboration won't happen unless we decide to start building bridges instead of walls. Is it too late for us to make this change? No. I mean, look, lots of our young people are already there, out in the streets organizing, voting, peacefully demanding justice. Now us old folks need to catch up.
I have a saying, since I'm one of those older people now. I said, you know, that statement that you can't teach an old dog new tricks, it's not right. It's not true. You can teach an old dog new tricks, it just take a long time.
So we'd better get cracking. To retain our humanity, to save our planet, we need to get in the habit of belonging rather than othering, of focusing on our commonalities over our differences. And I'm not gonna lie to you. This will take lots of hard work, and it will require all of us to accept the fact that we won't always get our way.
I'll leave it for you to decide which age group you're in. With some more words, as we've heard from Citizen Brain, let me ask, what stories will you tell as you strive to build genuine belonging? Can you create and perpetuate stories based on kindness, heart, and helping one another, over stories grounded on fear and fright and flight? Can you believe in others? Can you find leaders to believe in? How might you merge your many us's with the us's of others? Even in the face of countering influences, I encourage us to keep faith and promote Citizen Brain's visioning of trust in democracy. You know, that approach to life advocated by so many youth on this planet right now. Remember recalling our examination of healing the heart of democracy during our Circles of Trust program last spring? I invite everyone to consider engaging in the next Circles of Trust program, which is going to be based on geography rather than democracy, which is starting in a few weeks. But I'm sure that in our Circles of Trust, we will experience new habits of both democracy and belonging. So, my friends, let us strive to sustain, not diminish, many opportunities to connect and build belonging. If we weaken this fundamental survival need, we risk losing critical parts of what it means to be human. As we sang about in our opening hymn, let us strive to build bridges between our divisions, because in the words of Citizen Brain, everyone belongs. May all this be so. Friends, I remind you to remain standing as we extinguish our chalice. Let us join together in the words. We extinguish this chalice, but not the warmth of love, the light of truth, nor the energy of action. These we carry in our hearts until we meet again. And as a benediction, let us continue our recent habit and tradition of repeating the new all-church covenant. We covenant to be a fellowship welcoming to all, where our that differences are a source of deep learning and spiritual growth. We strive to promote love, reason, and respect as we work together to build a just and compassionate